Good afternoon, my dear students. Today I welcome the first years for a session on schemes and institutes of self-employment. These days we've been dealing with the topic employability skills, and this is an important area in employability skills. Usually we come across 3 blocks in students after their formal education. The 3 blocks are usually, for example, I can just mention one after another. I have come across 3 types of students after their formal education when it comes to the question of employment or self-employment or employability. I have come across 3 problems or 3 difficulties that the students face. And the first one is the lack of innovative ideas. For example, you have completed your formal education. For example, in your welder or electrician or fitter course. So after that, they don't know what to do. Sometimes they find self-employment, but majority they don't have ideas. Technical routine works they do, but then they don't have innovative ideas. The second one, for example, even if they have all these things, ideas in finance, they don't have the confidence, self-confidence that I can accomplish, I can do this work. This confidence quite many of the students lack. And the third fear is with regard to the financial resources. If you want to start any kind of innovative new projects or programs, you need money. Sometimes you like money, so you don't know what to do. Given to your age, you don't know what to do with to look for in which way to look for the financial sources. Anyhow, in this topic, I will deal with the first aspect and the third aspect. The first aspect being the lack of innovative ideas, and the third aspect is the fear of financial resources. The second one, lack of confidence, that probably during the time of your formation, you are given ample opportunities to appear on the stage, to organize certain things, to visit, to take in leadership, sports, cultural activities, different types of celebration. Most of the time you shy away from all these things. For example, if you are asked to read on the platform, many times you are reluctant. If you are asked to give a talk on a particular topic, again you are reluctant. Get into all those things, and thus, for example, study well, do all these things well. So during this process of your academic formation, you can develop confidence by assessing yourself in various means. So that is, for example, that a major role you have to play in getting self-confidence. So we come to the first aspect of with regard to innovative ideas. So that is an important area. For example, while I was going through this textbook, I was surprised to see the amount of help that government is ensuring for you in getting ideas and financial sources. For example, after your particular course, there are a number of opportunities for you to start a kind of a particular program. For example, if you don't have ideas, then government is providing you with various technical helps, for which government has started number of institutes all over the country, particularly in our own states. There is one organization called Technical Consultancy Organization, TCOs, and the purpose of them is to cater to the consultancy needs. Then you need to consult. For example, if you have certain doubts, you need somebody with authority to consult and talk to, with regard to MSME. For example, I suppose you remember the full form of micro, small, medium enterprises. So if you have any doubt after your course of study with regard to MSME entrepreneurship, there are technical consultancy organizations in the country. For example, in Kerala, you have one institute at Untitled. There is one MSME consultancy organization wherein you can either through the net or by directly going to that place, you can consult on different ideas. And for example, you have an innovative idea, a new idea to start a new project, but then you are not confident about it, about the viability, whether it will succeed in this particular place. So in such cases, you can go and consult and discuss with the experienced person. They will just speak to you, you can talk to them, they will give you directions with regard to the possible success or failure of this program. There is another agency that is for Khadi Village Industries Commission. It is known as KVIC in short form. It is in Kochi and also in Trivandrum there is one Attikal complex, there is one agency. So be in touch with, during the time of formation, during the time of study, get in touch with these different governmental agencies so that you can discuss with them well in advance and arrive at a conclusion with regard to an entrepreneurial project with regard to that. Then I will come across, as we go ahead, we will speak of number of agencies. Now we come to the fourth slide, and there is one organization, a governmental organization called the Small Industry Service Institute. It is also short formed as SISIS, SISIS. So again I will repeat, Small Industry Service Institute, and the purpose of this institute is to help you to launch into a program or to take up a program, and they focus mainly on training in industrial management. For example, if you start a small industry, you have to manage the employees, you have to manage the finance, you have to manage the distribution of the product. So they will give you training in industrial management. They also will give you courses on technical things. So for technical training courses at various levels, and also they have demonstration. They will demonstrate various activities with regard to that. That is called a SIS, SISIS. So get familiarized with this particular word. Because free of service, you can go there, get in touch with, you just refer in the net and you will get the Google search. If you look for Small Industry Service Institute, you will get ample number of articles on their activities and how they are going to help you in your search. So now we will come to the next organization, the fifth slide. That is about another body, a national body called National Small Industries Corporation Limited. National Small Industries Corporation Limited, that is NSIC. So its main office is in New Delhi. Because it's a national body, they also will give you, get in touch with them through the net, and they will give you proper directions and indications with regard to starting of a new program or a project. So again, the short form is NSIC, because these are pretty long names, so therefore always they are known in short forms. They are known in short forms. So that is one, National Small Industries Corporation. If you want to start a small industry, for example in welding or electrical field, you can consult them and they will give you directions. So this is the second body. And then there is another body. We'll come to the next slide, and that is called a Directorate or Commissionerate of Industries. State government. So far we spoke about the national agency. Right now we are coming to the state government Directorate or Commissionerate of Industries. It is in Vellayampalam, actually in Trivandrum. There is one office. They have one office in the Kerala State office is in Vellayampalam, Trivandrum. So they also will give you any amount of directions. If you are not well versed in Hindi or in English, to contact the national agencies, you can directly contact the state government agencies through net, or even you can search in the net and you get enough information with regard to starting of a small industry. And in the next slide, we will come across another organization. I think this name is quite familiar to you, SIDCO. We don't use the full form, Small Industries Development Organization. So it is known as SIDCO, SIDCO office. This term is frequently being heard. Again, their task is to give you ideas, new ideas with regard to the starting of new industries or new projects, or after your study, for example, you wanted to start a kind of small welding unit. Then it's possible that you get, given to the state of arts now, new innovative ideas, new technologies about the use of technologies. Probably sometimes you might need advanced training in certain areas, and then it's a lot of possibilities for you, So therefore, Small Industries Development Organization, each state, for example, in India, each state, there is a central under Ministry of MSME, Micro, Small, Medium Industries Department, Ministry. Each state has got one unit. So SIDCO unit, for example, Kerala state has got a SIDCO unit. So there also again the short form is again SIDCO, Small Industries Development Organization. So therefore you just contact them over the net. You can get further details about SIDCO from the net, and then you can talk with them, deal with them, and they will direct you as to what is to be done after your course. And that is one small. So far we spoke about the national agencies. Now we are speaking about the state organizations. Now in the next slide, another agency is called SIDA, Small Industries Development Agency. SIDA, again, just for example, sometimes for objective type questions, this SIDA come. What is the full form of SIDA? Then the full form of SIDA is Small Industries Development Agency. Their task, they have few tasks. It provides a single window for small scale industries for entrepreneurs. For example, once you if you want to start a small unit, there are a number of issues you have to tackle. For example, pollution, environmental issue, electrical connection, purchase of materials, where and how you will get all these materials. So, and also sometimes you need finance. So SIDA can help you in setting up a kind of an industry with financial support. They will direct you to get bank support from particular area. So SIDA is another agency whom you can contact when you think of starting a kind of an industry. They give you a kind of holistic picture about the whole thing, and they will boost you up, they will support you, they will encourage you to go for action. And the next one is the 9th slide is about now two aspects we already covered. First aspect is with regard to innovative ideas, new ideas. For example, after your formation, you don't know what to do. You have the competence, but then you need technical support. So in the first part, I dealt with that aspect. For example, technical help, how to start this business. So therefore, government has organized such a mechanism by which you can get help for starting new ventures. Now the second aspect I spoke about was about with regard to self-confidence. That I said as a part of the conclusion, you have to develop your own personality, your own self-confidence. Now the third aspect is with regard to the finance. When you start a project or when you start a kind of a business, government not only gives you the technical support, government also is willing to come forward financially by supporting you. For example, in the following sessions, basically I am in the text, what is basically given is about the financial support mainly for the financially backward students, so tribal students or scheduled backward, so-called backward community. For example, for the upper class, in the last slide, I will speak about the financial sources for the upper class. Now, we come to with regard to finance. For example, many are afraid to take a loan from the bank. Because the question is whether you will succeed in this business or you will fail. If you fail, then you cannot pay the installments to the bank, and then you will land up in trouble. So therefore, there comes the question of self-confidence. For example, then when you start a business, you have a budget. You need to have a budget. And also you think about for example, the returns. You invest money, you get back money, so that you can pay the bank loan in installments. So finance, there are ample opportunities. Government has provided ample opportunities for you through various banks. They will give you money provided you have the proper certificates, and sometimes they ask you for a number of documents which you may have to produce. Once you go through the proper channel, the banks, they are willing to give you money even up to 5 lakhs. In the last class I spoke about to the tune of crores. Sometimes when you as a batch, as a team, when you start a business, government is willing to give you, provided you provide all kinds of documents, they will give you crores of rupees. It's not easy to get. If you go through the proper channels, you will get it. And today we are going to speak about the microfinance. Small amount of money all these organizations are willing to give you to start a new business. So therefore, so they provide funds for setting up. For example, once you start a small industry, for example, you have to set up. You need instruments, small instruments. For example, a welder students or a fitter student, small lathe, for example, or even for example, number of new technologies are there with regard to artificial intelligence. All of these things, you need machinery or sophisticated equipments, for which the government or governmental agencies are willing to provide you with funding. So they will provide funding not only for to start up, and also if you want to expand. You have already started one business, you expand that. You want to expand by procuring more machines, or you also sometimes you need modernization of the equipments. So for which also you need money. And also when for example, in order to procure raw materials, you need money. So therefore, banks are willing to give you the financial support for starting business. And we'll come to, with regard to finance, we'll come to the next slide. That slide number 10. There is one corporation called Finance and Development Corporations, and I have added one N, that stands for National Finance and Development Corporation. There is one particular agency called National Backward Class Finance and Development Corporation. One particular agency, I repeat again, National Backward Classes Finance and Development Corporation, NSKFDC. They are mainly for the backward classes. Through microfinancing, small amount of money, for example, the tune of few lakhs. And for example, if you want to start some small industry with regard to agriculture and allied activities, sometimes you might ask me, what have you to do for agriculture? For example, some products, climbing on a coconut, a particular machinery to climb on a coconut or coconut tree, or dehusking coconut or cashew nut, all those things you need machinery. For example, electrician, so plumber, welder, or fitter, they can work out on this. You have an idea, given to the Kerala's background, you have an idea, so you want to set up, for which you need a small microfinance. So National Backward Classes Finance and Development Corporations are willing to give you a certain amount of fund for backward classes through microfinancing. Now, in the next slide, there is another agency called National Scheduled Caste Finance and Developmental Corporation. These are all at the national level, not at the state level, but then certainly, naturally, they have their branches in Kerala too. So, National Scheduled Caste and Finance and Development Corporation. So, they also help you in your formation. For example, 2 words they have used, and that is, their particular mission is fighting the stigma and poverty through entrepreneurship. For example, backward classes, sometimes they may have there's certain stigma. I come from a particular background, financially poor background, financially poor. So there's a kind of stigma on them. And also another one, poverty, financial difficulties, poverty. It will affect their development. So the government or this particular National Scheduled Caste Finance and Development Corporation aims at empowering such backward students through entrepreneurial process by helping them to start small industries by which they can generate income. They also provide finance and facilitate and mobilize funds for economic empowerment. They not only finance, but they also facilitate. They help you to trace financial sources, and also the third possibility is to mobilize financial sources to start a kind of a new venture. So therefore, just remember this name, National Scheduled Caste Finance and Development Corporation, which is in short form known as NSFDC. So therefore, you can approach them. They are all national bodies. Now we come to the next one, that is National Minorities Development and Finance Corporation. It's not only for so-called poor people, but also they are for minorities. We have another group called the majority and minority group. For example, Christians, Muslims, and Parsis, they are all minority groups. So if you are from a particular group, then with a proper certificate, if you go and apply for financial assistance, National Minorities Development and Finance Corporation is certainly willing to finance you. It promotes an economical and developmental activities of backward classes through guidance and funding. Two aspects they have. They focus on, they guide you. They will guide you as to what is to be done. And second one, small funding sources. They also fund. They not only fund you, they not only will provide you with the fund, they also will give you proper directions as to how to go about with regard to the starting of a small entrepreneurial program or a project. And in the next slide, we have another body, that's again a national body, it's called the National Scheduled Tribes Finance and Developmental Corporation. Now, huge funds they have, and these national bodies certainly will have their state bodies too. Every state they have their own bodies. So therefore, National Scheduled Tribes Finance Developmental Corporation, it's a Government of India enterprise under the administrative control of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, having its registered office at New Delhi. So therefore, be in touch with them. Just ask for NSTFDC, National Scheduled Tribes Finance and Development Corporation. So now this is one agency, details I will not go, we will come to the next slide, another agency. That is called National Safai Karmacharis Finance and Development Corporation. National Safai Karmacharis Finance and Development Corporation, NSKFDC short. They help you in three ways. The first one is institutional linkage groups. They will link you with certain agencies or certain institutions. So that is their first task. Sometimes on your own, sometimes you are not confident to start a program or a project. So therefore, they will link you up with other agencies whom they are helping. Actually, this agency is helping. So thus you get through a kind of a twinning process. Sometimes they might need your help in doing certain works. Meantime, they will provide you with the skills for starting business. Then the second one is Skill Upgradation Training Program, that is known as STP. For example, after your welding study, there are the uses of new technologies like computer controlled numerical methods, or what called office machine automation. Now for example, the electrician students will have to go into artificial intelligence, for example, probably AI, artificial intelligence, these topics are not included in your syllabus. But when you go out, naturally you will have to deal with all this artificial intelligence, all these HMS robotics you will have to study, you will have to do. For example, if you're going to another state, then you will have, naturally you will work on these techniques for which you need technical help. So therefore, you need skill upgradation training program, that is called STP. Whatever you have trained here probably may not be up to date. In order to meet the modern standards, you need further small trainings. So therefore, they will give you skill upgradation. Your skill will be upgraded. Your skill will be taken to a higher level. And also, for example, another area that they will help you is entrepreneurial development program. So they will help you to start new projects, new entrepreneurial programs. It's known as EDP. And the fourth aspect is that they will give you financial assistance up to 5 lakhs. That is, so this same agency, when it was set up on 24th January 1997. As a special company, not for profit, under Section 25 of the Companies Act 1956. So they started this one. Now these are all national agencies. So far we spoke about the financial aspect, financial support given to backward classes. Now we have not dealt with one group, the upper class, so-called financially well-off group. We so far dealt with the financially poor background students, for which government will provide you. Then you want to start an industry, then it is easy for you to get fund, provided you provide all the security. For example, land security you can provide, building security you can provide, vehicle security you can provide. If you provide all these securities and so on, government is willing to fund you to start a kind of a new venture. So getting finance for the upper class is not a major problem, because they are also influential. So naturally their parents and relatives can get the help from various agencies. Naturally, if they have bank account, naturally you can take loan based on the bank account. So upper class getting a finance from a bank is not a major problem, it's not a major issue. So therefore, we'll come to the last concluding session. I just sum up. In the beginning I said I come across 3 types of problems with regard to students. They lack ideas, they lack finance, they lack confidence. I dealt with the 2 areas, when and how and where you can get finance, and also the other one, technical help. You want to start a small business, but then you have no idea. So there are agencies who can help you for that. I spoke about such national agencies organized by the government, financial support also. With regard to when it comes to the self-confidence, you have to develop your own during the time of your formation. You have to make yourself confident by getting involved in not only the academic things, but also in extracurricular activities, for life skills, for example, leadership skills, organizational skills, time management, personality development programs, communication skills. All these are called life skills. You need, when you are in a workplace, you need all these skills to coordinate the workforce. So therefore, all these life skills you can acquire during the time of your training. So when teachers ask you to come to the stage to read or to write a report, don't shy away, get involved in all these programs and develop your personality. So take care. Shying away can create trouble in due course of time. Because now this is the time now you can afford to make mistakes and develop your personality during this time, and thus develop self-confidence. Read a lot about entrepreneurship, dream a lot, you dream a lot about that. And also my main point is that you complete your academic process well, study well, make use of every second properly and study well, and then come out in flying colors after your IT study. And then once you come out with flying colors, then you naturally will have a confidence that I am good in studies, and and also you have the industrial visit when you go for every year. For example, by the end of the academic year, the month of October or November, you go for IB, industry visit. This is an exposure. You are taken to a particular context, and then you see it's not only a kind of pleasure trip or a kind of a holiday trip, but it's a kind of industrial visit. By visiting an industry, you come to know different business processes, the business technology. So therefore, you need to read, you need to study well, you need to develop yourself, and certainly you don't need to fear about anything. Your future will be safe because government is willing to the financial support, government is willing to give you technological help, and what is needed is to launch in with confidence. So I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.